Oh my goodness. What is up? It is I, the terrific lady, otherwise known as Brandy, and welcome. I hope you all are having a fabulous day, evening, witching hour, whatever time that you are watching this. This reaction review is part of the retro rewind, where I look at movies that are 5 or more years old. I watch them, I give my reaction on them. And today, I am going to do a reaction review to the movie Possession, which was the date. I've heard it was made in 1983. I heard it was made in 1981. So we're just gonna say the early 80s horror film Possession, which is available on Shudder to stream. And it's interesting. I cannot pronounce the actress's last name, but I know her first name is Isabel. And then you got a very young Sam Neill, and they are a couple who are in a relationship, a very toxic, codependent, needy, almost violent kind of relationship. He's like this spy, and he's always away from home, and they had a kid, and like when he comes back from like his last spy job or whatever, she's told him, hey, like, I had an affair and I want a divorce. Well, he's not taking that well, and over the course of the movie, it's like she's slowly like kind of losing her mind, and he's also kind of losing his mind. Like, the harder he tries to like get her to stay, the more that she tries to get away. And unfortunately, I feel sorry for the kid. He's caught all in the middle of this, and that is basically Possession in a nutshell. It's honestly something that you would have to watch to get the full gist of it, but it's like if a David Lynch film and a Cronenberg film got together and had a baby, you would get Possession. That's basically my thoughts on it. There are so many different ways of interpreting the feelings in this. Like, for instance, she like is violently screaming and like kind of pounding and flinging herself all over the subway walls, and then almost like this miscarriage of blood and like this milky substance like comes out of her, and you could possibly say that's her just like expelling like all of this kind of toxicity that she's had in her life. And another interpretation is that the feelings that she is very violently expressing, like she breaks things, she tosses stuff all over the apartment, she's constantly just like screaming in his face. You could possibly say, well, these are we're seeing outward expressions of feelings that she's keeping inside. And okay, spoiler alert here, if you haven't seen this is wild part. There's like this like monster like thing almost under her bed. She's like, yeah, I totally did him. Like, we did it last night and it was awesome. And there's a very graphic kind of sex scene with her and the monster, the tentacle like monster, which was a little weird. But she kills men to feed those men to the monster, I believe. And you could say, and then the monster like evolves over time and ends up looking just like her husband. You could say, well, she's killing these men in a sense, like taking the best parts of them and kind of building them into the man that she wishes her husband was, but it's not. And you could go with that interpretation. It's wild. It's a wild film. It was banned upon its release. When I looked it up, it was considered one of the video nasties, and video nasties was something in UK, like kind of a conservative movement where they were like, well, we're gonna ban this film, that film, that film because they're icky. And a lot of horror films, unfortunately, fell under that category, and this was one of them. And I think this film is really hard to even find like a physical copy of. I mean, from what I've read. But if you happen to not have a physical copy of this film, it is, again, streaming on Shudder. I don't know if it's going to be there forever, but that's where it currently is now. So, Possession. It is my verdict. It is a one-time watch for me. It is very hard for me to kind of get into these art house, I would call it an art house kind of horror film, but hell, it may be right up your alley. And if it is, then you know where it is, and you know where to stream it. So, yeah, Possession. I'm very interested in knowing like what your thoughts on it. If you've seen it already, if you haven't seen it, then watch it and please tell me what your thoughts are on it. I would be very curious to know. So, until next time, stay terrific.